What's going on? Today we're gonna do a little video on epoxy. We're gonna put some epoxy on these glittered pieces that I've already kind of had done. We're gonna do a little how-to on how to epoxy. First, you're gonna want to decide what kind of resin or epoxy you want to put, depending on what you're doing, how deep, and all that good stuff. Art resin, the best of the best. It's 1-to-1, so you're gonna need your art resin. You're gonna need a mixing cup and a mixer. You're going to want to make sure the mixer's new, clean. Everything's got to be very clean because you don't want to get no dust or particles inside the art resin when you're mixing it, or even when it's drying, because you're going to want to cover it, but we'll get into that a little later. So first, you're going to want to make sure to put plastic down, obviously, because this way if it drips anywhere, you're covered. And you're going to want to get a mixing cup with the little lines on it. So 1-to-1. So if it's 8 ounces of resin, 8 ounces of hardener. Very simple. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay this on a nice flat table, and we're going to pour in the epoxy. You always want to pour in the epoxy part of it first before the hardener. I always put these little airtight caps back in. It kind of just preserves your epoxy a little bit longer. They're a little pain in the neck to get out, but they're worth it. So for what we're doing today, I'm gonna mix up, we're probably gonna do about 16 ounces. So it's gonna be 8 of the epoxy and 8 of the resin. Just make sure it's nice and flat. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do 16. Just try to get it as even. Some people weigh it even. I just get it as close to the line as I can get it, and as accurate as I can without going crazy. I always put the cap back on, make sure it's nice and tight, because you don't want your epoxy to go bad. Here's the hardener, also art resin. I've used a lot of different epoxies. Art resin seems to be my favorite. A little easier to deal with. It's a little less bubbles, just a little, I think a little better quality. Or it's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth the money. So now we're going to add in 8 ounces of hardener, because we had 8 ounces of the epoxy. I might have made a little too much, but I'd rather throw it away than not have enough. And that's right at about, it actually worked out just about perfect. So now we have 16 ounces of 8 ounces of resin, 8 ounces of hardener mixed up together. So now we'll take our clean stick and we're gonna mix it. And we're gonna mix this, making sure to get the bottom, the top. You'll see it, it'll actually get real clear. It's a little yellow tint right now, but you'll feel it'll start warming up, and it'll start actually like, the resin itself will heat up. It's gonna take about, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 minutes to mix this. So I'm not gonna bore you and sit here and watch you mix this. So I'm gonna mix this up, and I'll be right back, and we'll lay the art resin down, and I'll show you the best way to get bubbles out, or make sure the best way that you get all the corners. These are a little harder because we're doing letters, but I'll show you. We'll be right back.